I feel like most of the times whenever women have abortions, it's whenever they're in an unstable situation to raise.
Most of the time they get abortions, it's because they don't want it.
Sure, but like if they don't want it, that means they're probably in a situation where they can't afford it,
Nope.
or they're not in a stable.
They don't list financial reasons out of it. It's because they just don't want it.
Okay, well, I mean, still, like if they don't want to care for the child, that means the child will still grow up in an unloved environment, which would be bad for them anyways.
Worse than death?
I would say, like from like things that I've read, living in poverty is worse than dying. I mean, I'm pro-choice. I'm kind of.
Well, you can be pro-choice and still acknowledge that it's death.
I mean, yeah, it's death, but like.
So what, right?
I mean,
Equality, right? Like, who cares if Planned Parenthood is killing babies? Who cares? Equality, right?
I mean, yeah, I mean, it's not like it's. I don't know. I feel like just like the fundamentals of abortion are outweigh. I don't know.
Outweigh what?
I feel like just like the negative aspect of like forcing a woman to like raise a child that she doesn't want probably outweighs. I don't know. I just don't really feel like it affects anyone else. So I feel like the long-term aspect.
It does affect somebody else because someone else's life is ending.
Right, but I feel like the long-term effects of having the choice of like having a baby or not outweighs like the short-term aspect of like killing a fetus. So
You do admit that it's killing.
sure, but I feel like it's really important. I think it's more important to have I think it's more important to have abortions legal because of the fact if abortions aren't legal, then like they're still going to occur. So I feel like it's important to like, even if I don't agree with abortion on like a moral level, it's important to keep it legal because they'll still happen.
It'll still happen. Like murder will still happen in this country. So why make it illegal, right?
Well, I feel like if it's illegal, it'll just happen in unsafe ways that'll cause.
Well, yeah, murder. I mean, it is illegal to go stab someone, but by God, that happens a lot more often than people are shot to death. So why make stabbings illegal? Right? They're just gonna do it anyway. We should have a safe way to stab someone else, right?
Well, no, I feel like especially like.
Why not? Why not though? So if we should make abortion, which you admit is killing, legal,
Right.
because if we don't, then people will do it anyway. Why can't we just make me stabbing you right now and killing you legal because
Right,
I might do it anyway?
So the majority of abortions, I feel like especially late-term abortions are especially important just because like they occur because whenever they're at like late-term abortions are important because it occurs whenever the mother's health is in danger.
No, it doesn't.
So what do you mean?
No, it doesn't. There is no instance where a late-term termination of a pregnancy has to happen to save the mother's life. Late term would mean after 21 weeks, and that is a point of viability. They can do a C-section, remove the baby, and save the mother. You know what late-term abortion does?
Right.
They explain a process of a late-term abortion to me.
Yeah, so it's late-term abortions happen. It's not really it's not really the fact that like the mother's like, oops, I forgot to get an abortion, sorry, like scratch my head.
Sometimes that happens.
I feel all the articles I've read just point to the fact that like late-term abortion.
Well, tell me how it happens. What's the process? What's the procedure? What's step one in a late-term abortion?
Step one. I'm not really sure like what actually occurs, but.
So you're gonna put the woman into labor. She is going to go into labor. She's going to give birth, but the baby will be dead. That's what a late-term abortion is. Why can't we just do a C-section, save the baby, and save the mother? No one's life has to end.
That's interesting. I feel like just the possible outcomes of having the baby anyways still outweigh. Like the foster system is really not good, and like the adoption system is pretty poor.
So are you willing to look in the camera right now and tell all of the adopted viewers that they should have been aborted because their life could have been worse?
I'm not going to say that, but I feel like.
How can you equate the two? It's worse to go into a foster care system than to die.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that like it's.
I'm trying to make sure.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that like I just feel like whenever like a mother doesn't want to have a child, like there's no need to, or like put them up for adoption either. I feel like it's just like really unethical to force someone to give birth to a baby because like labor is a
No
really
one's
hard thing.
forcing anybody to give birth.
Right, but like
No one's
labor is
forcing that.
What do you mean?
Where do you see that people are forcing people to give
Well,
birth?
I mean, like going through labor is like a really, really difficult and painful thing to do.
What do you think abortion is?
Right. So I mean, like the same thing. Like if you're not going to have that child anyways, there's no point of going through like the painful and long process of giving labor. So.
How could we change your mind? Because you admit that abortion is killing. What would it take to change your mind and say killing is wrong? Do you think killing is wrong?
I mean, yeah.
Then why are you making an exception for the tiniest humans on this earth? They're innocent, they've done nothing wrong, their circumstances don't matter to their humanity. Someone who is conceived in rape or just unwanted or wanted, their humanity is still there. They didn't choose any of those situations in which they were conceived. They're innocent. They're the most precious people that we have on this earth.
I guess. Yeah.
You would admit that.
I mean, I'm making an exception just because of like the possible outcomes that have been like empirically proven to happen afterwards.
Okay. Possible outcomes. If you were driving and you saw something that looked like a human in the road, would you slam on your brakes to prevent from hitting it?
Sure. Yeah, sure.
So, the possible outcome, you avoided possibly killing a person. You don't know. You don't know if it was a person, but you prevented yourself from going through and causing this, not knowing the reality of if that was a human. Why can't we do that and apply it?
Even if it was still an animal, I would still stop.
So why would you stop and not kill an animal, but you're okay with women killing their babies? Because I'm using your words. You admit that it's killing.
Sure.
Why is there an exception for the most innocent people on this earth?
I feel like there's just an exception because like whenever like it's me or anyone like physically doing the act of killing something that's already alive and already like experiencing like its environmental surroundings, I just feel like that's a lot different than a little quick like painless process of
babies feel pain. They have nerve endings. That's one of the first things that develop is their nerve endings.
Okay, but I mean, I feel like once again, it's just the possible outcomes that. I mean, all the.
What if the possible there is a possible outcome that they're gonna live to cure cancer? They're gonna live to be the next president and make the world a great place, implement world peace. They're gonna sit there and do something that would make it to where nobody ever had to be killed on this earth. That's a possible outcome. What about that outcome?
Well, I feel like it's also like hard to get to that point if that was like you said, like they could cure cancer, because I feel like most of the times whenever women have abortions, it's whenever they're in an unstable situation to raise.
Most of the time they get abortions, it's because they don't want it.
Sure, but like if they don't want it, that means they're probably in a situation where they can't afford it or they're not in a stable.
They don't list financial reasons out of it. It's because they just don't want it.
Okay, well, I mean, still, like, if they don't want to care for the child, that means the child will still grow up in an unloved environment, which would be bad for them anyways.
Worse than death?
I would say, like, from, like, things that I've read, living in poverty is worse than dying. Okay. So, yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, thank you so much. I do
Thanks.
appreciate that.
Thanks.
It's an awkward shirt you have on for this conversation. Thank you so much. If you guys liked this video, make sure you hit the subscribe button and notification bell. If you want to support me so I can keep making videos just like this, visit InfoWarsStore.com where you can get great products like Brain Force, which gives me all the mental clarity I need to make these videos. Or take Turbo Force, which provides me with enough energy to make it through a long day of interviewing liberals. Not only are these products going to enhance your life, but they make sure I can continue bringing you all the content you love. Make sure you also join my Patreon at patreon.com/CaitlinBennett so I can hire security for when I attend rallies and do street interviews. If you sign up, not only will you be able to keep me safe from all these nasty Democrats, but you can receive cool perks such as shoutouts, autographed photos, and even have your name in the description of every single YouTube video. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.